Hello, 你们好. This is ChineseFor.Us Hands-on Writing. I'm Lily.
Welcome back. I'm Chuck. Today we'll try to answer this question. What's the difference between simplified and traditional characters?
When you decide to learn Chinese, the first thing you might wonder is whether you should learn simplified or traditional Chinese.
If you learn the language in mainland China or Singapore, you'll be learning simplified characters.
But if you learn the language in Taiwan or Hong Kong, you will probably be using the traditional characters.
The first character simplification discussion and program started in the 1920s and 1930s, but wasn't officially carried out. In the 1950s, mainland China started to adopt simplified characters, and the system has been used ever since.
There are some strict rules between simplified and traditional characters, and if we have to describe their relationship, it would be like this.
So there are parts that belong to each other.
There are 6 major ways of simplification.
Number 1, simplifying radicals and elements. Every character that has certain radicals and elements are replaced by the simplified version and are easy to spot. Here are some examples. For simplified, we have and for traditional, we have. Basically, all characters that contain these radicals or elements are simplified the same way. For example, here's the radical ch. Let's see a group of characters that contain it. You can see that the simplified ch are all written the same way. Here's another radical, sh. Let's see how it looks in both simplified and traditional. Number 2, the second method of simplification is using the simplest character. When 2 or more characters share the same pronunciation, only the simplest one was kept to carry on the meaning of both or all. For example, the simple character ho is used to represent both ho and ho. Also, the simple character hu is used to represent 2 traditional hus. Another example, the simplest tai is used to represent these 4 versions of tai. The third method of simplification is partial replacement, which means to replace complex elements with simpler elements such as yo or e, or replace complex phonetic indicators with simpler ones. Here are some examples where complex elements were replaced with yo. And for e, we have some other examples. And here's some examples of simpler phonetic indicators, such as these ones. And the fourth method of simplification is partially omitted, which means complicated elements were omitted, leaving only the simple elements remaining. For example, guang, chang, ning. The fifth is called shape simplification. The characters are simplified based on its shape, like the ones you see right now. The last one is remake. This is when some characters were remade to replace the old ones, such as hu, jing, xiang.
We've always heard Chinese learners asking, should I learn simplified characters or traditional characters? If I only learn one, would it be a problem later if I have to use the other system?
I would say that no matter which system you learn, getting familiar with the other one is not that difficult.
I grew up using simplified Chinese characters, but by practicing a little calligraphy as a child and reading books printed in traditional characters, I could read and type traditional characters no problem, even though I may not be able to write all of them from memory.
And even for me, I'm not a native Chinese speaker. I learned Chinese in Chengdu, China, and learned purely simplified characters. But I was able to read almost all traditional characters just by singing karaoke that had lyrics written in traditional characters.
Learning simplified characters, of course, would be easier, but don't be stressed about it being so hard. If later you decide to or have to switch to traditional, you'll most likely be able to feel completely literate again in just a few months.
So make your initial choice based on where you're planning to travel, study, or work. And later on, you will still be able to switch to the other system. Hope this video helps. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
谢谢，下次见。
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up below or subscribe. As a member of our website, you'll have access to even more lessons, so feel free to visit us at ChineseFor.Us. Also, our social links are to the right. Thanks and see you next time.